Hi everyone, it is me, Flower Child 567, and I am here and I am setting up for the TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, actually, for the weekly Tamriel Storyteller Hour. And we're continuing on with where I left off. And if you recall, if you watch it, you know that I'm right here. I'm right here in Artaeum. And I'm up above, I'm close to the Sephira Tower. That's where I was hanging out last week. And now I'm just hanging over here and taking a look right here at these hay fields. Because they're really kind of cool looking, I think. Oh, look at who is that? That is Zareth Bard, my new companion. I just welcomed him into my midst yesterday. Hi, Zareth.
Share your thoughts with me.
Well, let's talk about our partnership, I guess.
Certainly.
How do you feel? How do you
You
feel
are
about our
my
friendship?
Tamit. We are partners, friends, and we guide each other through the world.
Oh, wow. That's kind of nice, don't you think? Anyways, a couple of things about this
You have
dude
my
when you
ear,
have him.
Tamit.
All right. Bye for now. All right. So, a couple things about him. Number one is he is a tribute player. So he's good to have by your side when you choose to play tribute. And then also when you are wearing him, or, when he's trotting beside you, our wonderful magic bags, the heavy sacks, they start to do the blue sparkle thing that the chests do once you are a full-fledged, what is it? I don't know. I don't know which skill line it is that gives you all of the wonderful sparkles to see our chests. Oh, look at right here. Let's get this rune stone. You never know. Might get a mundane
An
rune.
inspired find, Tamit.
Oh, thanks. All right. All right, you guys. So I'm going to continue with the Psijic order. If you recall, I'm reading out for you 2920, right? And I got to book 3, the first seed. And I read the 15th first seed. And so now I'm going to continue, and I'll tell you what, for this first one, I'm just going to cam over here so you can just see this pretty scenery and hear my voice. Yeah. All right. So let me grab my lore book here. Gonna give me just a moment. Your Friday is going wonderfully. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I wasn't here last week because of Thanksgiving, so I know I didn't put a notice or anything. I just didn't show up. Oh my God, I'm becoming so lackadaisical with my streaming. Book 3. All right. Book 3, the first seed. The 18th first seed. I don't know why I feel like I read this, but already. But I guess this is where I'm at. I should. Well, okay. If I'm rereading, someone needs to tell me that. Okay. In fact, I'm going to double check. Hold on a second. Let me look over here real quick. Let's see. I'm just going to my videos real quick and looking at where I left off. Psijic, book 2, and I started book 3, the first seed. Okay, well, I guess I'm right on. So, all right, grab something to sit on if it's your lunch break. And hey, thanks, viewers, tuning in. I always love having you, and I truly appreciate that you make time for me in your busy life, especially when you could be playing the game yourself or out there charging in PvPville, which gets the most airplay. All right, here we go. Book 3, First Seed, 18, First Seed by Erfond of Morrowind. How far is the Imperial Army? Asked Vivek. 2 days' march, replied his lieutenant. If we march all night tonight, we can get higher ground at the Parai tomorrow morning. Our intelligence tells us the Emperor will be commanding the rear. Storig of Forum has the vanguard, and Nagia of Riverhold a left flank, and Ulgweth of Lilmonth at right flank. Ulgweth? This sounds so familiar. I'm almost positive I've read this. Haven't I? 19th First Seed, Bodrum's Morrowind. The quiet hamlet of Bodrum looked down on the meandering river, the Pry. It was an ideal site, lightly wooded where the water took the bend around a steep bluff to the east with a gorgeous wildflower meadow to the west. The strange flora of Morrowind met the strange flora of Cyrodiil on the border and commingled gloriously. There will be time to sleep when you've finished. The soldier had been hearing that all morning. It was not enough that they had been marching all night. Now they were chopping down trees on the bluff and damming the river so its waters spilled over. Most of them had reached the point where they were too tired to complain about being tired. Let me be certain I understand, my lord, said Vivek's lieutenant. We take the bluff so we can fire arrows and spells down on them from above. That's why we need all the trees cleared out. Damming the river floods the plain below, so they'll be trudging through mud, which should hamper their movement. That's exactly half of it, said Vivek approvingly. He grabbed a nearby soldier who was hauling off the trees. Wait, I need you to break off the straightest, strongest branches of the trees and whittle them into spears. If you recruit 100 or so others, it won't take you more than a few hours to make all we need. The soldier wearily did as he was bade. The men and women got to work fashioning spears from the trees. If you don't mind me asking, said the lieutenant, the soldiers don't need any more weapons. They're too tired to hold the ones they've got. These spears aren't for holding, said Vivek, and whispered, if we tired them out today, they'll get a good night's sleep tonight. Before he got to work supervising their work, it was essential that they be sharp, of course, but equally important that they be balanced and tapered proportionally. The perfect point for stability was a pyramid, not the conical point of some lances and spears. He had the men hurl the spears they had completed to test their strength, sharpness, and balance, forcing them to begin on a new one if they broke. Gradually, out of sheer exhaustion from doing it wrong, the men learned how to create the perfect wooden spears. Once they were through, he showed them how they were to be arranged and where. That night, There was no drunken pre-battle carousing, and no nervous neophytes stayed up worrying about the battle to come. As soon as the sun sank beneath the wooded hills, the camp was at rest, but for the sentries. 20th 1st C 2920 Bodrum Morrowind. Miramore was exhausted. For last 6 days he had gambled and whored all night and then marched all day. He was looking forward to the battle. But even more than that, he was looking forward to some rest afterwards. He was in the Emperor's command at the rear flank, which was good because it seemed unlikely that he would be killed. On the other hand, it meant traveling over the mud and waste the army ahead left in their wake. As they began the trek through the wildflower field, Miramore and all the soldiers around him sank ankle-deep in cold mud. It was an effort to even keep moving. Far, far up ahead, he could see the vanguard of the army led by Lord Storic, emerging from the meadow at the base of a bluff. That was when it all happened. An army of Dunmer appeared above the bluff like rising Daedra, pouring fire and floods of arrows down on the vanguard. Simultaneously, a company of men bearing the flag of the Duke of Mournhold galloped around the shore, disappearing along the shallow river's edge where it dipped to a timbered glen to the east. War Chief Ulaquith, nearby on the right, dipped to a timbered glen in the east. Flanked left, out a bellow of revenge at the sight, and gave chase. Queen, rah! Queen! No, that wasn't what he bellowed. I just couldn't pronounce a word. I couldn't pronounce the word queen. Oh my God, my mouth wouldn't work properly. Queen Nagia sent her flank towards the embankment to the west to intercept the army on the bluff. The Emperor could think of nothing to do. His troops were too bogged down to move forward quickly and join the battle. He ordered them to face east towards the timber, in case Mournhold's company was trying to circle around through the woods. They never came out, but many men facing west missed the battle entirely. Miramore kept his eyes on the bluff. A tall Dunmer, he supposed must have been Vivek, gave a signal, and the battle mages cast their spells at something to the west. From what transpired, Miramore was deduced it was a dam. A great torrent of water spilled out, washing Nagia's left flank into the remains of the vanguard, and the two together down river to the east. The Emperor paused as if waiting for his vanquished army to return, and then called a retreat. Miramore hid in the rushes until they had passed by, and then waded as quietly as he could to the bluff. The Morrowind army was retiring as well back to their camp. He could hear them celebrating above him as he padded along the shore. To the east he saw the Imperial army. Whoopsie. Whoopsie doodle. One sec. He saw the Imperial army. They had been washed into a net of spears strung across the river. Nagia left flank, on Storig's vanguard, on Ulquith's right flank, bodies of hundreds of soldiers strung together like beads. Miramore took whatever valuables he could carry from the corpses, and then ran down the river. He had to go many miles before the water was clear again, unpolluted by blood. 29th verse C 2920. Begoth, Hammerfell. You have a letter from the Imperial City, said the chief priestess, handing the parchment to Corda. All the young priestesses smiled and made faces of astonishment. But the truth was that Corda's sister, Rija, wrote very often, at least once a month. Corda took the letter to the garden to read it. Her favorite place and oasis in the monochromatic sand-colored world in the conservatorum. The letter itself was normal and nothing unusual. filled with court gossip, the latest fashions which were tending to wine-dark velvets, and reports of the emperor's ever-growing paranoia. "You are so lucky to be away from all of this," wrote Rija. "The emperor is convinced that his latest battlefield fiasco is all a result of spies in the palace. He has even taken to questioning me. Ruptagar kept it so you never have a life as interesting as mine." Corda listened to the sounds of the desert and prayed to Ruptagar the exact opposite wish. The year is continued in Rain's Hand. Book 4. All right. We're going to just take a change of scenery for the next book, Book 4. So let's see, where shall we go? Maybe down by the bridge over here, down by the water. I don't know. You know, one thing I have noticed is that there is no place to sit around here unless I sit on the ground. I think we'll stand right here. This will be the next view. How's that? Is that pretty enough for you? All right, here we go. Continuing with Book 4, Rain's Hand. 3 Rain's Hand, 2920, Cold Harbor, Oblivion. Sothis Sil proceeded as quickly as he could through the blackened halls of the palace, half submerged in brackish water. All around him nasty, gelatinous creatures scurried into the reeds. Bursts of white fire lit up the upper arches of the halls before disappearing, and smells assaulted him. Rancid death one moment, sweet flowered perfume the next. Several times he had visited the Daedra princes in their oblivion, but every time something different awaited him. He knew his purpose and refused to be distracted. 8 of the more prominent Daedra princes were awaiting him in the half-melted, doomed room. Azura, the Prince of Dusk and Dawn, Boethia, Prince of Plots, Hermamora, Daedra of Knowledge, Hircine, the Hunter, Malakath, God of Curses, Mehrunes, Dagon, Prince of Disaster, Molag Bal, Prince of Rage, Sheogorath, the Mad One, and then the sky cast tormented shadows upon the meeting. 5 Rain's Hand, 2920. Sothis Sil's voice cried out, echoing from the cave, "Move the rock!" Immediately the initiates obeyed, rolling aside the great boulder that blocked the entrance to the dreaming cavern. Sothis Sil emerged, his face smeared with ash, weary. He felt he had been away for months, years, but only a few days had transpired. Lilantha took his arm to help him walk, but he refused her help with a kind smile and a shake of his head. "Were you successful?" she asked. "The Daedra princes I spoke with have agreed to our terms," he said flatly. "Disasters such as befell Gilverdale should be averted. Only through certain intermediaries, such as witches or sorcerers, will they answer the call of man and Myr." "And what did you promise them in return?" asked the Nord boy, Velig. "The deals we make with Daedra," said Sothis Sil, continuing on to Icos's palace to meet with the master of the Psijic order, "should not be discussed with the innocent." 8 Rain's Hand, 2920. The Imperial City, Cyrodiil. A storm billeted the windows of the prince's bedchamber, bringing a smell of moist air to mix with the censers, smoke filled with burning incense and herbs. "A letter has arrived from the Empress, your mother," said the courier, anxiously inquiring after your health. "What frightened parents I have," laughed Prince Drillick, from his bed. "It's only natural for a mother to worry," said Javarin Chorak, the potentate's son. "There is everything unnatural about my family, Kabir. My exiled mother fears that my father will imagine me of being a traitor, covetous of the crown, and is having me poisoned." The prince sank back into his pillow, annoyed. "The emperor has insisted on me having a transfer for all my meals, as he does." "There are many plots," agreed the Akavir. "You have been abed for nearly 3 weeks with every healer in the empire shuffling through like a slow ballroom dance. At least all can see that you're getting stronger, strong enough to lead the vanguard against Morrowind soon, I hope," said Juliek. 11 Rain's Hand 2920. The Isle of Artaeum, Somerset, right where we now stand. The initiates stood quietly in a row along the arbor loggia, watching the long, deep, marble-lined trench ahead of them flash with fire. The air above it vibrated with the waves of heat. Though each student kept his or her face sturdy and emotionless as a true Psijic should, their terror was nearly as palpable as the heat. Sothis Sil closed his eyes and uttered the charm of fire resistance. Slowly he walked across the basin of leaping flames, climbing to the other side, unscathed. Not even his white robe had been burned. "The charm is intensified by the energy you bring to it, by your own skills, just as all spells are," he said. "Your imagination and your willpower are the keys. There is no need for a spell to give you a resistance to air or a resistance to flowers. And after you cast the charm, you must forget there is even a need for a spell to give you resistance to fire. Do not confuse what I am saying. Resistance is not about ignoring the fire's reality. You will feel the substance of flame, the texture of it, its hunger, and even the heat of it, but you will know that it will not hurt or injure you." The students nodded, and one by one they cast the spell and made the walk through the fire. Some even went so far as to bend over and scoop up a handful of fire and feed it to the air so it expanded like a bubble and melted through their fingers. Sothis Sil smiled. They were fighting for their fears admirably. "Look at this little guy wants my attention. What is it, little guy? What do you need my attention so badly for?" "'Cause the chief proctor, Thargalith, came running from the arbor arches. Sothis Sil, Almalexia has arrived on Artaeum. Icasis told me to fetch you." Sothis Sil turned to Targalith for only a moment, but he knew instantly from the screams what had transpired. The Nord lad Velik had not cast the spell properly and was burning. The smell of scorched hair and flesh panicked the other students who were struggling to get out of the basin, pulling him with them, but the incline was too steep from the entry points. With a wave of his hand, Sothis Sil extinguished the flame. Velig and some other students were burned, but not badly. The sorcerer cast a healing spell on them before turning back to Thargalith. "I'll be with you in a moment, and give Almalexia the time to shake the road dust from her train Sothasil turned back to the students, his voice flat. Fear does not break spells, but doubt and incompetence are the great enemies of any spellcaster. Master Valik, you will pack your bags. I'll arrange for a boy to bring you to the mainland tomorrow morning. The sorcerer found Almalexia and Icasis in the study, drinking her hot tea and laughing. She was more beautiful than he had remembered, though he had never before seen her so disheveled, wrapped in a blanket, dangling her damp, long black tresses before the fire to dry. At Sothasil's approach, she leapt to her feet and embraced him. Did you swim all the way from Morrowind? He smiled. It's pouring rain from Skywatch down to the coast, she explained, returning his smile. Only a half-league away, and it never rains here, said Icasis proudly. Of course, I sometimes miss the excitement of Somerset, and sometimes even the mainland itself. Still, I'm always very impressed by anyone out there who gets anything accomplished. It is a world of distraction. Speaking of distraction, what's all this I hear about a war? You mean the one that's been blooding the continent for the last 80 years, Master? Asked Sothasil, amused. I suppose that's the one I mean, said Icasis, with a shrug of his shoulders. How is that war going, by the way? We will lose it unless I convince Sothasil to leave Artaeum, said Almalexia, losing her smile. She had meant to wait and talk to her friend in private, but the old Altmere gave her courage to press on. I have had visions. I know it to be true. Sothasil was silent for a moment, and he looked at Icasis. I must return to Morrowind. Knowing you, if you must do something, you will, sighed the old master. The Psijic way is not to be distracted. Wars are fought. Empires rise and fall. You must go, and go must we. What do you mean, Icasis? You're leaving the island? No. The island will be leaving the sea, said Icasis, his voice taking on a dreamy quality. In a few years the mist will move over Artaeum, and it will be gone. We are counselors by nature, and drained the last sip of his drink before leaving Sothasil and Almalexia alone. Don't miss the last boat. So now the year will continue in Second Seed, which I'm going to again find another location to gaze off in. Get rid of that collect ancestor silk, because that's annoying, isn't it? Yeah, it is. All right, let's see. Let's maybe go here and gather this rune stone. Maybe I'll get a mundane rune. What do you think?
I always forget what that rune means.
Well, me too. I don't keep them in my head very long. Let's come down here, I guess. Look up to where my house is. That might be nice. I don't want to fall off the cliff and die. Alright, that's a pretty view. Alright, let's continue. Here we go. Book 5, Second Seed. 10 Second Seed 2920, the Imperial City, Cyrodiil. Your Imperial Majesty, said the potentate Virzadu Shai, opening the door to his chamber with a smile. I have not seen you lately. I thought perhaps you were indisposed with the lovely Raija. She's taking the baths at Mir Corrupt, the Emperor Remen III said miserably. Please come in. I've reached the stage where I can only trust 3 people, you, my son, the prince, and Rija, said the emperor petulantly. My entire council is nothing but a pack of spies. What seems to be the matter, your imperial majesty? Asked the potentate Virazudu shy, sympathetically, drawing close the thick curtains in his chamber. Instantly, all sound outside the room was extinguished, echoing footsteps in the marble halls and birds in the springtime gardens. I've discovered that a notorious prisoner, an Orma tribeswoman from Black Marsh called Katachika, was with the army at Cair Savio while we were encamped there when my son was poisoned before the battle at Bodrum. I'm sure she would have preferred to kill me, but the opportunity didn't present itself. The Emperor frowned and fumed. The council suggests that we need evidence of her involvement before we prosecute. Of course they would, said the potentate thoughtfully, particularly if one or more of them was in the plot. I have a thought, Your Imperial Majesty. Yes, said Riemann impatiently. Out with it. Tell the council you're dropping the matter, and I will send out the guard to track this Kachika down and follow her. We will see who her friends are and perhaps get an idea of the scope of this plot on Your Imperial Majesty's life. Yes, said Riemann with a satisfied frown. That's a capital plan. We will track this scheme to whomever it leads to. Decidedly, Your Majesty, smiled the potentate, parting the curtain so the Emperor could leave. In the hallway outside was Virzadu Shay's son, Severin Chorak. The boy bowed to the Emperor before entering the potentate's chamber. Are you in trouble, father? Whispered the Akaviri lad. I heard the Emperor found out what's her name? The prisoner did. The great art of speechcraft, my boy, said Virzadu Shay to his son, is to tell them what they want to hear in a way that gets them to do what you want them to do. I need you to get a letter to Kachika and make certain that she understands that if she does not follow the instructions perfectly, she's risking her own life more than ours. All right, let's continue on. You know, I really have trouble reading these things. I don't know if you've ever noticed. I got to tell you something. This lore book goes on and 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 on. And I think what I'm going to do is break it up into future sessions. I don't want to spend like a month just reading this one lore book, although I have to tell you it's quite interesting and goes through a lot of different things in our lore. But this is fiction. Did you know that? I'm reading you fiction. I'm reading you a true story book. We're in Second Seed, right? And so this is kind of interesting because the book 5, Second Seed, really goes on and on. No, we only have 2 more passages. So let me just read those to you. And then we'll be done for a while with this book. 13 Second Seed, 2920, Mere Corrupt Cyrodiil. Rija sank luxuriously into the bubbling hot spring, feeling her skin tingle like it was being rubbed by millions of little stones. The rock shelf over her head sheltered her from the misting rain, but let all the sunshine in, streaming in layers through the branches of the trees. It was an idyllic moment in an idyllic life, and when she was finished, she knew that her beauty would be entirely restored. The only thing she needed was a drink of water. The bath itself was wonderfully fragrant, tasted always of chalk. "Water!" she cried to her servants. "Water, please!" A gaunt woman with rags tied over her eyes ran to her side and dropped a goat skin of water. Arijah was about to laugh at the woman's prudery. She herself was not ashamed of her naked body, But then she noticed through a crease in the rags that the old woman had no eyes at all. She was like one of those Orma tribes women Rija had heard about but never met, born without eyes. They were masters of their other senses. The Lord of Mir Corrupt hired very exotic servants, she thought to herself. In a moment the woman was gone and forgotten. Raisha found it very hard to concentrate on anything but the sun and the water. She opened the cork, but the liquid within had a strange metallic smell to it. Suddenly she was aware that she was not alone. "Lady Raisha," said the captain of the Imperial Guard, "you are, I see, acquainted with Kachika?" "Never heard of her," stammered Raisha before becoming indignant. "What are you doing here? This body is not for leering eyes such as yours." "Never heard of her when we saw her with you not a minute ago," said the captain, picking up the goat's skin and smelling it. "Brought you Navish Ichor, did she, to poison the Emperor with?" "Captain," said one of the guards, running up to him quickly, "we cannot find the Argonian. It is as if she disappeared into the woods." "Yes, they're good at that," said the captain. "No matter, though, we've got her contact at court. That should please his Imperial Majesties. Seize her!" As the guards pulled the writhing, naked body from the pool, she screamed, "I'm innocent! I don't know what this is all about, but I've done nothing. The Emperor will have your heads for this." "Yes, I imagine he will," smiled the captain, "if he trusts you." All right. Hey, you guys. So, I'm going to tell you something. We've got something new happening, and I'm going to share with you about it because I think, it's kind of interesting. A new process that they're taking us through, and I understand what it's all about now, and so I want to explain it if you are
A potent
interested.
find, Tamit.
Oh, yes, wormwood. Such a nice little mild poison, isn't it? All right, let's come over here. What's down in there? A tunnel through which to walk, because it's so pretty. Pretty, 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 pretty. And then we come over here, and guess what? I can't. Oh, I can. I can sit here. Oh, how nice is that? Okay, this is nice. All right, so I'm probably going to stand as soon as I go into my inventory. Oh, I didn't. Okay, in our inventory, right now there is a new area called, well, it's not new, but it's under Activity Finder. And whenever we have a special happening, the Activity Finder turns yellow like this. And when you open it up, you now find the Golden Pursuits. And this is, the first was a 5-day or 6-day test. That went well. And now this was a 32-day test. There's 30 days remaining. And this Golden Pursuit is called Frosty Fun. And it's all about the call of wintry adventure for a limited time. Earn rewards by jumping in game today. So there are 20 items that you must fulfill out of a list of items. Kind of like what we deal with in the Scalarium in the Gold Road when we're getting our luminaries, right? Luminaries, when we're meeting all of them. So at when you've achieved 4, if you look up here at the top, when you've achieved 4, you get 3 crown boxes. I'm wearing both the face and the tattoo that I got in the boxes, and then at level 8. At level 8, you get a Frostdrager Ruin Gather. I'll show it to you. So when you're going after your rune stones, you got a nice Dagger. God, I couldn't think for a minute. Dagger. And then when you get 12, you get a Nord statue, the Nord hero. The two-handed axe of the Nord hero is poised to deal damage to him. You know, I'm going to stop doing Tamriel Storyteller Hour because I can't talk anymore. My sensibility of pronunciation has really gone out the window, and I don't know why. Here's the statue we get. It's pretty cool looking. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay. All right, but when you get 20 achievements, you get the shoal bear. It's a strange creature, no doubt about that, and I'm not sure if it's a bear that became enchanted too close to the sea or a magical oceanic construct that just happens to look like a bear. Either way, it's a good swimmer, and that's written by the mage adept Erwin Cotret, and this is what it looks like. And I think it was designed for me. Oh yeah, it was designed for me. You see that? It does a funny little weird dance. All right. Anyways, I couldn't get the arbor, you know, the arbor mount right because I couldn't earn enough endeavors, 16,000 endeavors, and it was 2,500 crown gems, so it was way beyond my financial abilities within the game because I just don't live on the game, and so I don't acquire that kind of wealth in the game. But as you can see, I've achieved 5 now. I have achieved 5. Let's look at these. I'm going to just go down the list so you see. Complete 5 quests and you immediately get the evergreen Satraelia battle axe. It's pretty cool looking. There it is. So I got that, and then I'm going to be close. I have 2 more quests to complete, and then that's my 6th item, and then of course I'll go on. I'll get the 20 quests. I need to make a new character to be able to earn 10 levels because these are your experience point levels, and CP, you know, you achieve that level 50 and then you just don't keep gaining those, and so this really, the earn 10 levels is designed for, I believe, new tunes. So I'm going to create a new tune probably this weekend and at least earn the first 10 levels on it. All right, kill 5 world bosses. That's an easy get. I've got 3 out of the 5. Let's look at the reward. It's pretty cool looking. It's a nice dagger. I like it. I do. All right, and then kill 5 delve bosses. I have 3 more to do, which again, I'll get that done. And you get a bow, and the bow's pretty cool looking. Yep, pretty cool looking. And then earn 20 levels with your new tune. Maybe I'll get that. I don't know. Complete 5 incursions. I had to ask what incursions mean because I'm not that familiar with it. And they're like in the Gold Road DLC. You know how we have the we used to call, in all other maps, they're known as the dolmens, but on Gold Road, they're incursions. So where you go and, you know, a whole group of people come and fight those. So you have to do 5 of those. So that'll actually be easier to do than you realize. I'll get that one done. I'll be doing a group dungeon today, so I'll have the mace as of today. That's kind of cool looking. I don't use maces, but I still like the fact that I'll get it. And then 5 group dungeons, that's easy to do. You just do 1 group dungeon a day, a random daily, and that'll be complete. Kill 200 foes with class ability, so that means I have to kill sorcerers. I've only killed 10 out of 200. Here's the earn 30 levels, which I don't know. Loot 15 treasure chests. I've got 8 out of 15, so I'll get that one. Complete one trial. I hope I can do this one. I'm going to look for and talk to some people about doing a trial. This is a mall. It's kind of cool. Complete 3 trials. I'm not sure about that one. Earn 40 levels. Not sure. Complete 6 stages in the Infinite Archive. I'm going to be doing and working with this. And also defeat 5 cycle bosses in the Infinite Archive. So I'm going to try that on my own, and then I'm also going to ask a couple of friends if they would be willing to do this with me. Visit 10-player homes. I did, and I received the staff. It's kind of cool looking. Now, the one thing I got to share with you about this visit 10-player homes, it doesn't have to be other players' homes. You just have to visit 10 homes. So if you've got 10 houses, if you own 10 houses, well, then hop around to 10 different houses, and you will have this simple achievement done. Craft 25 items in your home for us crafters. That's an easy achievement. Those 25 also count towards your 50, which I got the shield. It's really very cool looking. Harvest 75 resources from the world. That's really easy to do. Everybody should have this checked off. Here, earn 45 levels, not sure. Complete 1 battleground match. We've got the event going on right now, so doing that and getting the axe should be an easy thing for all of us. And also completing 5 battleground matches. You don't go and just do one, so it would be easy to continue that. Alliance points, I don't know, because maybe on Sunday if I go play with my PvP guild I'm a member in, I can do that. I don't know. I don't kill other players. I'm the one killed. I don't think I can get this one. Earn 15 new Life Festival boxes. Well, once we start that event, I'll be working off that. And the same thing, earning 10 event tickets. I'll be working off that by virtue of doing that. And then we get this wonderful and beautiful sword. But by doing 20 of these, which you don't have to do every single one of them, you just, because there's more than 20, you will get that beautiful little shoal bear. So that's the cool thing about that. And to finish off with, I just want to talk to you momentarily about our event that's happening. And that is, I wonder if it's, I'm just looking to see if it's being shown here. I guess not. Anyways, it's Battlegrounds. It's you do it in Battlegrounds this weekend. All right, that's pretty much it. So I'm kind of done for today. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm rethinking Tamriel Storyteller Hour. I've been doing it for over an hour. I've really had a lot of fun with it, but I'm thinking maybe the time is to stop. All right, you guys, I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you. Bye for now, and have a great weekend.